truth is, sometimes we get comfortable with the ordinary, sitting inside the lines others have drawn for us, when there is an entire blank canvas of a world waiting for us to trust fall into solutions to questions not even asked yet, to rise, revise, and recognize that remarkable is not only possible, but it is necessary. It is the result of daring to imagine beyond this partition of parameters, always onwards, upwards, and forwards, towards the whys of ideas redefined, the what-ifs of partnerships, the how can we improve this. This is more than a common belief that in order to succeed, we must always see details 3 steps ahead. This is not about spotting market trends or hopping on bandwagons, because many others have been there, and quite frankly, so have we. But we are also about people. Shorooq, the right fit in the right place, like perfectly timed happenings matching skills with partners already found, where the sum of parts can create platforms only teamwork lets you reach. No, not you, us, plural, collective, a home field advantage, expertise meeting the opportunity of what we did, are doing, and will do, investing in holding open doors wide enough for impact to walk through. So we continue being the outlier, the deviation, the above and beyond expectation, the ones uncomfortable with being ordinary. Today is the day. Join Shorooq Partners.
Welcome everyone to your weekly's Founders Curshin It, where every Wednesday at 4 p.m. we go live on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube and grab a conversation with a successful founder in our region to learn more about their business, their journey, and their industry. If you're watching this live or pre-recorded through our LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube channels, remember to follow, subscribe, and click that bell icon to get notified with all our news, events, and updates. This show is brought to you by Shorooq Partners, the leading tech investor in the Middle East, North Africa, and Pakistan. And I'm your host, Tariq Fouad, Head of Growth at Shorooq Partners. And I want to thank you all for tuning in from wherever you are. Today, we have the pleasure to host Adnan Aslam, founder and CEO of DigiKhata. Prior to starting DigiKhata, Adnan led finance and accounting functions at different companies in Pakistan, United Arab Emirates, and Africa. At Price Waterhouse Coopers, he advised on financial and governance matters to large conglomerates in banking and telecom sectors. And as the head of financial operations while at MENA African Telecom, MTN, very well-known company, he led core financial operations and drove efficiencies in payment transactions across 20 opcos in MENA and Africa. Somebody with tremendous amount of experience. DigiKhata, however, is Pakistan's largest network of businesses with over 1 million active businesses gaining economic value from this platform. So far, their hyper-localized operating system empowers small businesses to record business financial transactions on a digital ledger and create digital storefronts instantly to sell online. The company is basically on a mission to create a super platform to provide micro, small, and medium businesses with a comprehensive operating infrastructure to digitize their businesses. But before we grab a chat with Adnan, let us first check out this quick reel.
कारोबार से नाता डिजिखाता.
Karobar Senata DigiKhata. Adnan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Tariq.
It's our pleasure, sir. So, first of all, I want to know what Karobar Senata means and what is DigiKhata all about? Seems like it is enabling millions of businesses around the region to start off the right way. So explain to us what DigiKhata is all about.
So thank you very much, Tariq, once again. Literally, Karobar se Nata means the connection to the business. DigiKhata is one application that these small, micro and medium businesses has ever adopted to digitize their businesses, and the only application that they have in their smartphone to manage their businesses. We are on a mission to help them digitize it and gain benefits of those digitization. They have been offline forever. Now we are giving them this opportunity to leverage the benefits of digital technology and improve onto their businesses with financial improvements, one, and the general business needs, the other.
Got it. So basically, we're talking about the mamas, the papas shops, the bakalas, a lot of those who still did not necessarily enter the Web 2.0 in a sense, or have probably entered the 2.0, but aren't necessarily making the most out of it. And this is where DigiKhata, through their platform, doesn't necessarily allow them to sell online, but it also provides them a platform to become financially a lot more, I would say, bankable, and in the same time to have all the support required to actually sell online. Is that correct?
That is correct, Tariq. So, as I said, so these small merchants like bakalas, the mom and pop shops, these guys have been offline doing their businesses in an old fashion. So, for instance, if you want to record any of your financial transaction, they used to use pen and paper to record it if they ever record it. Now, imagine that if a person lends out money or sold anything on credit and they never record it. So forget about getting that payment on time. What if you'll never get it anyways?
Exactly.
So, we identified that particular problem, solved it for us to start with, and fortunately good enough that these merchants have been generating real economic value out of it.
Of course. And I would want to kind of maybe go backwards a little bit and understand, what appealed you to actually start DigiKhata? How did this idea all originate from?
Sure. So, being my finance background, I have been working on financial accounting, advising companies on finances and accounting for almost all my financial career. I always wanted to be someone who can create an impact at an economic level. We have been creating some impact for those companies where we worked, who we work with. And by the way, the product that we launched here was not a new concept. However, there was nobody who was dedicatedly working on solving that particular problem. My father has been a small businessman himself. So I have been looking at him since my childhood, taking those piles of books with him. Even he visits nearest customers in the nearby cities, asking them, give us the payment. It's 3 months old or a year old. Now please pay me back, and things like that. That's a problem to solve, and he's not alone in it. So that correlation has really compelled me that this is a problem worth solving, and the massive opportunity available, considering that Pakistan, which is the market that we're currently operating, is primarily a cash-based informal economy that requires tools like this by the merchants and get themselves away from all these problems.
I love that, because this is a great segue to a few questions, Adnan. Now, with the traditional or status quo to doing business, I wonder how difficult was it to actually get these merchants onto DigiKhata? and how long did it take you to kind of convert them into the new mode of doing business in a sense? What was the journey like there? Maybe it's a few learnings or a few aha moments that you've reached there. But before that as well, DigiKhata has made a name for itself in Pakistan. So I'm interested as well for you to kind of highlight what were I would say, the recent or the big milestones that you've achieved so far.
100%. So, Tariq, one fact that just wanted to put up front is that the smartphone penetration and the internet penetration at a mass economic level is gaining pace here in Pakistan. So people like these small merchants had the smartphones with them, but besides using them for social media, they have never been using it for any of their business needs. We have seen that opportunity and built this product so their smartphones can be leveraged to manage their business. And that so much so should be intuitive enough that they can use that. There has been many traditional accounting and other business applications which these businesses has never adopted just because that they can't understand it, or they don't know how to use it, or they don't want to use it because it's difficult enough. So intuitiveness and simplicity was on the center of the products that we built initially. Second thing that you asked about how we reached all these merchants. Now, there's an inherent network effect that we have in our application. So whenever a merchant adopts onto it, he records his financial transaction. We send a free notification SMS to the party he records his transaction against. So for instance, a merchant has sold grocery to one of his customers. The customer will receive a free notification SMS very dedicatedly saying, "Dear Mr. X, you bought this much at this price. See the ledger on this link. And if you want to adopt DigiKhata, this is the link you can download the application from." So 4 out of 10 new merchants that we onboard that come onto our platform are from this network effect that we have built. And this is how we have adopted several other strategies on spreading the word to these merchants. And trust me, it was never difficult for us to reach precisely which merchants we want to be part of our network.
Beautiful. So it seems like you've got something there that is kind of making you acquire customers faster than anybody else in the market. I'm interested in understanding from your perspective, Adnan, this is a very competitive, cutthroat, I would say, line of business that maybe other players are already out there in the market. Making sure that you have a kind of an, I would say, defensible moat is going to be crucial. In your thoughts, what are the areas or the trends that you see retail sector going towards, and that you're kind of trying to piggyback on that trend, right? And to be there first before anybody else. So kind of tell us a little bit more about what you see in the market, are the trends, how retail sector will look like in the future. But most importantly as well, how do you maintain that defensible moat so then DigiKhata stays number one in the market? What are the different things that you like core principles that you try to stick to ensure that you're always number one?
Sure. So, Tariq, we were fortunate enough to be in the market before anybody else does. So all that competition that you see through nowadays have been post our launch. How we remain or keep ourselves ahead of that competition is by listening to our users. We have a very robust and comprehensive feedback management system that allows us to understand the requirements that our merchants have and then build on it. And I'm very humbled to and very happy to confirm that today our application is the most comprehensive suite of tools available to the merchants for them to adopt onto and utilize and gain benefits out of it. That confirms the leadership position also, that whenever we build something, there is some followership that we see across other players. Coming back to the question of the retail, we have seen the digital adoption. Of course, one is through the DigiKhata application at first, and then this recent COVID, besides challenges, has also given us certain opportunities. Now, for instance, when the shops were closed, what was the ways for these retailers to reach to their customers and continue with their businesses? We very quickly built that product which allows them to create their online stores, the storefronts, and reach out to their customers digitally. Their customers are now able to order online, view their store, ask questions, make payments, and many other features that we have built around that. So what we are seeing, that there is a massive adoption on an e-commerce side as well, specifically if you ask me about the retail side of the things. Of course, it varies on which sector we are talking about. For instance, apparel, textile, grocery, or versus any other. However, generally, there is a digital adoption. And one more thing to identify on top of it, that very recently the State Bank and the regulators here have been cognizant of that fact, and they have been building infrastructure that allows more and more merchants, including small and micro merchants, to adopt onto the digital payments and start receiving payments from their customers, gain access to capital digitally, etc. So we see a lot of digital adoption in the retail side, as well as we also see the regulatory and compliance is looking and moving and working towards its adoption as well.
So maybe a follow-up question on that, Adnan. Do you see probably any challenges, maybe at the short term or long term, that could potentially affect this, advanced adoption of technology, or to affect, how businesses, go ahead with DigiKhata? What could potentially be the challenges that could maybe slow you down into achieving your mission?
Sure, 100%. So if you look at Pakistan, there are only 3 million income tax return filers out of a 220 million population. That's a very low ratio. Now, we do have that challenge we face today, and we probably be staying with that challenge for quite some time, unless the regulators or the authorities find a way to tackle for that, which is how these merchants are going to go into the tax net. And if they're going to go into the tax net, what will happen to them? What will happen to their transactions that they did in the past? What will happen to the transactions which will happen in the future? So this
kind of unclear grounds in a sense.
Exactly. So
yeah.
there is a curiosity among merchants about the taxability and how the government approaches it, and of course that stays with us also. And we have been adopting certain strategies on convincing these particular merchants that, look, guys, there are far more benefits that you can grab out of these. You worry about the 100% of the revenues that you currently lose, and don't worry about 10% or probably 5% of the taxes that you're going to bear tomorrow. But that is something that the government and the authorities need to look at if they really are working towards a truly digital economy, which everybody is aiming towards.
Beautiful point. Adnan, now DigiKhata is solely in Pakistan. Whereabouts do you see DigiKhata going in next? That doesn't necessarily have to be a specific country, but as a region.
Primarily, yes, we are in Pakistan, but we have seen organic adoption in few other territories. For instance, in MENA region, we have few of our merchants using DigiKhata there already. Primarily is the friends and families of the same Pakistani audience who are there and who have heard about us and started adopting onto there, and they are using it in those particular territories. The plan, if specifically on in the international expansion, if you're asking, is the plan is to first we nail here before we scale somewhere else.
Sure.
But you're gonna see us very soon scaling ourselves once we are done with nailing here.
Beautiful, love it. So last few questions, Adnan. I would say, looking at DigiKhata, you've been out there for quite some time now, been doing amazingly well. And I think this understanding of DigiKhata's vision and mission have evolved with time. If you were to describe DigiKhata in one word, what would that be?
A super application for these small merchants, a one-stop solution for them to get everything available at a platform.
Love that. And for all either the merchants that are watching us today, what would you like to say to them other than visit digikhata.pk?
Sure. I think it's absolutely important now in today's world to take your business decisions based on data. And we provide you with that particular opportunity to start understanding your business based on data, based on financial data to start with, and then take that decision. And there is no better way to do it than DigiKhata. There is no better application available here in Pakistan than DigiKhata. There has been many amazing features that are just around the corner. Digital payments is one of it. We are testing it as we speak, and we're going to roll that out to all of that audience, where besides reminding your customers, you'll be able to even ask them to pay me through DigiKhata by just pressing a link and using any of the payment channels that you would like to pay from, and you start receiving money while you're sleeping. So it's absolutely important to have a financial management solution for your business, especially when you are not using any before.
Love it, Adnan Aslam. I tell you the truth, I'm a big fan of how your website is built. I saw the evolution of it. I would say, last 6 months, it has evolved tremendously. And the new version is beautiful. I love the visuals, the imagery, and the way you've built it there. Well done on an amazing job. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Appreciate it, Tariq. Thank you very much for having me. And we just, as a final note, we have been busy adding up the merchants onto our network, and we feel very humbled to confirm that we are the largest network of businesses today in Pakistan. For anybody to leverage that network, had that be distributing their products from this network, or giving them access to the capital and finances. Our job is to uplift the lives of these small merchants, convert them from small merchants to medium merchants, and then from medium merchants to larger merchants. That's primarily is the goal, and we're going to take this journey through to them with the help of our partners and the team. Thank you very much.
Love it, Adnan. Love it. You've heard it from Adnan Aslam, the CEO and founder of DigiKhata himself. Remember to visit digikhata.pk today. Get to know more. If you're a talented professional, merchant, or an investor, reach out to them directly. Remember, if you're tuning in to this session, remember to always click that bell icon to get notified with all our weekly Founders Crushing It. You can reach out to us directly through our website, Shorooq.com, or you can follow us on Shorooq Partners. That's at Shorooq Partners on all different social media platforms. From myself and on behalf of Shorooq Partners, I want to thank Adnan Aslam for joining us today. And for everyone tuning in, have a great day.